Okay, so a while back I got asked how to level a character's weapon in this game, and I've been trying to tell people since last year, the year before actually. I've been trying to tell people since 2018 that I no longer play Sumeragi on my PS3. I have this huge, massive, well, it's not even massive. That's what he said. No, I have this playlist on Sumeragi for my PS3. I don't really have a whole lot of videos in it. Like, I think I have like 300 and something. And when people find my old Sengoku videos, they always go back to that PS3 playlist. I've been trying to tell people that I don't play it on my PS3 anymore. And it's kind of really pathetic that people will sometimes comment on those videos and say, "Oh, your quality sucks, bitch." Well, you know what? That's kind of your problem for coming onto a video expecting something to be all high and mighty and crystal clear. It's kind of your problem for having high expectations, if you ask me. But I've been trying to tell people I don't play that anymore. That's why I got it for the PS4 again in the first place, is so that I could record with it clear and people could shut the fuck up and stop bitching about that. But lately people have been giving me crap about the old playlist, at least for a while anyway, like a couple months ago. And I've been trying to tell people stop fucking watching those videos in that fucking playlist. That's like the nicest way I can say it, is stop paying attention to those. I had already said that I don't do videos on the PS3 version anymore. If you have a question, you need to go to one of my recent PS4 videos on Sumeragi to ask me about that, so that I can show it to you clearer and better into a way that you would understand. Because I keep going to those old videos giving me crap about it, and people don't realize I have the game again. I own Sumeragi twice, PS3 and PS4. I also own 3 Samurai Heroes as well as Utage on my PS3. I can't play those anymore. I mean, I still can, but I can't record them because the digital camera that I had that I would do videos with, it died on me at the beginning of this year. I can no longer record my videos on my PS2, my PS3, Nintendo 64, even the GameCube stuff. The Nintendo 64 and GameCube stuff I stopped at about almost 3 to 5 years ago. But the PS2 and PS3 stuff I had to stop as of the beginning of this year because the camera that I had that I would record with had died. I no longer have a digital camera that I can record with. The only thing I have to record with now is my PS4. That's why I stick only to PS4 games now, and I've been trying to tell people that things have changed again on my channel as the beginning of this year, like they did last year, and I guess people just don't pay attention to what I say. It's annoying. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because I have already showed everything for this game. I do guides on this game quite a bit, pretty much all the time. I have showed pretty much everything I frickin' can, such as Sengoku creation routes, drama routes, how to get characters second outfits. Some characters have like up to 3 to 5 outfits based on their Tenka metal outfits. Every character will have a default outfit that they start with. Then if you go through either Sengoku creation route or drama route, you will open up a second outfit for that character. You only unlock a character's second outfit by clearing either Sengoku creation or drama route with that said character. So I created videos showing that, but people are still asking me. But I've already had most of all the characters' outfits unlocked already. Like I said, I've actually had to go through Sengoku BASARA for about 3 times. I have Sengoku BASARA 4, then I have Sumeragi on my PS3. So not only did I have to max out every character and do all of this with 4, though I believe in 4 the Tenka medals didn't exist, but leveling them all up to 999, I had already done that. Now I'm having to do it a 3rd time. And that's kind of why you don't see a lot of videos on this game, because it's stressful, because there's so many characters I like in this game. Trying to max them all out to 999 is not easy. That takes time. lots and lots and lots of fucking time. You can level up characters quickly by playing through the Otoko Takeda Dojo, like Otoko Boy, basically boy dojo with Shingen. Um, if you go to the Otoko Takeda Dojo, or Takeda Otoko Dojo rather, you can level up fairly quickly because you fight all characters in the game. I think it's like 45 characters, including the characters you are playing as. You will fight yourself. You fight all characters in the game. All characters. Even Kasuga, he's not really a player character. He's more like a transformation character. But he shows up as well, and you get to fight him too. And you can level up fairly quickly there. At least up to by 5 or 10 levels, depending. But like I was saying, with outfits anyway, you gotta go through a character's Sengoku creation route or their drama route, and it will open up the second outfit. The third outfit is actually Tenka metal outfits. The only thing is she gets glasses. It's not really even an outfit. It's just more like an accessory. She just gets glasses. However, Maria though, her outfit actually does change entirely. This is the Empress outfit. So there's some characters that have multiple outfits. Like for instance, Masamune. He gets like 5. I think it's 5. Also, my right joystick on my controller is broken, so the characters will sometimes twirl by themselves. It's been acting up on me really bad again, and I can't help it if he starts moving like this by himself. So, see, he has 5. This one here is the Pitch Black Dragon version. This is his Tenka Metal outfit. So this one here, this is his default. Okay, this is his alternate by completing Sengoku creation route or drama route. Either clearing one of those stories, either one, will give you this outfit. This is his second. This one here is also, I think, a Tenka, where it gives you his outfit without the helmet. In case you're into that, you don't want the helmet, you can just play with him with the default outfit without that. And then this is another Tenka one that gives him glasses, just like with Kasuga. He gets glasses with his default. It's supposed to be like a disguise, but just because he puts glasses on that have no lenses does not mean that people are not going to know that that is him, because it is. What even is the point? So that's how that works. As for the weapons, somebody was asking me how I had it maxed out to 3,000. I have mentioned this before, which is why I was bringing up the whole PS3 stuff. I have videos on the PS4 now where I have already showed how to do this time and time and time again. When I go through a character's Sengoku creation route, even the drama route, I will spend like the first 10-20 minutes of the video leveling up their weapon and showing how it is done. It does take a lot of time to sit there and watch me waste a bunch of freaking fortune hammers on this weapon. Like by going like this. I show how to level these weapons up. I have already showed this like 1,000 times and I still get asked how to do it, so I thought might as well try to make a separate video for it. Even though somebody will probably still ask me again later. But to get a character's weapon perimeters to be maxed out to 3,000, you have to get it to 1,500 first. So here, you have to max out all of these perimeters. So it's health, attack, defense, I think it's fighting spirit, and then Basara. So you have to max out all of these points first. You have to max them all out to 1,500 first. All of them. Then once you do that, you're going to want to go to the Tenka Metal shop, and you're going to want to look for their weapon that has this symbol on it. This symbol here, with the little blue ring and like the pentagon with the symbol in the center, is a limit break. Once you max out all perimeters on a character's weapon to 1,500, you have to go to Tenka Metal shop by hitting the L1 button in the main stage select, and it's going to bring it up, and you're going to look for the weapon that has this symbol. This symbol will then be transferred to the weapon that you want, and it will break all perimeters that will allow them to be leveled to 3,000. So you're going to want to back out, And then at the bottom, you see that little red box above my Koban coins where it says 1952. Well, above that, there's a red box with the L1 button on it with a bunch of symbols that says Tenka Metal. If you hit that, it'll bring up the Tenka Metal shop. Then if you hit square again and again, then you can go to the middle one, the orange one, which these are filters at the top, by the way. So this one here, this is everything. This is outfits, this is weapons, this is moves, available skill revisions. The blue one is skill revisions. The last one is special playbooks. So the first one, that's kind of like a whitish color, whitish faded pink. This offers everything. The purple one is outfits only. Outfits. Then the middle one, the orange one, is weapons. The blue one is skill revisions. And the last one is just random unique playbooks. Those ones are not really important. The middle one, the orange one, which will filter out only weapons only. So the first one will often be their skill revision. Then you have the one with the limit break. So this filters it out for all characters between limit breaks and skill revisions, or not skill revisions, but like their unique inscriptions rather. Unique inscriptions and limit breaks. It'll filter these out only. It'll filter it out for each character. Each character has a limit break. Each character has a unique personal inscription that is unique and personalized to them only. You cannot combine these. You cannot give them to other characters. You cannot give another character's attack. That shit does not work. Everything is unique and personalized and locked off to that said character only. So, once you filter these out, you should look for the character that it is you're looking for, whoever the hell it is, and they will have a limit break symbol. As I was saying before, in order to get a limit break, you need 2,000 Koban coins. I don't have enough, unfortunately, as of right now, but I already have a limit break on her weapon, and it's not really super important. I'm just showing where to go and how to do it, and this is how you do it. So for limit breaks, you need 2,000. For personal skill revisions, you need 5,000. And how you do that is you would buy the weapon that you want with the limit break or a skill revision, and then you would go to the weapon here. You would select the weapon that you want to put it on. So like, if I'm not actually gonna do this, but I'm gonna show you how. Say I have her personal inscription on this weapon here, and I don't have it on any other one. But say I didn't want this weapon anymore, and I wanted this one. So you would select it to give it to her. Then you're going to want to go to the third option. You're going to want to select that weapon and the one that you want to transfer. So when you do this, say if I want to put her personal inscription onto that weapon there, what you would do is you would grab it like this, you would put it here, and then you would hit the triangle button to accept that. And then you would go to the left. So you would hit triangle and then move it to the next one, and it would put the limit break on that weapon, and you can see how far it breaks out the perimeters. However, keep in mind, if you do not have all 5 points at 1,500, if you put a character's limit break on the weapon without the perimeters being already at those levels, you will not break their level. You cannot limit break a character's weapon unless all 5 of the points are at 1,500. If each 5 of the points do not say 1,500, putting a character's limit break on that weapon is not going to break anything. You only get a limit break if that character's weapon perimeters are already maxed out. So giving a character a limit break does not guarantee anything, and you will not even break anything unless you actually already have that maxed out. There are other characters where I have bought a limit break for them and I didn't need it. I can't really remember what character that was that I had done that to, but there has been a few characters where I accidentally bought a limit break for them when I didn't need it, because I had already had it, and now it's like stuck on like multiple weapons or something. I can't remember who it was, but there was a character recently that I did that, and I was like, what the hell, I didn't need this. But that's basically how you do this. You have to max out their perimeters to 1,500 first before you put a limit break. Putting a limit break onto a character's weapon does not automatically fill everything out to 3,000. This is stuff you have to do manually. It does suck, mainly due to the fact that it does take forever. It takes forever to sit here or stand here like I am and actually manually do this. For each character that you happen to be interested in or each character you want to play in, it does take a lot of work and a lot of effort to actually get a character's weapon to max. So for instance, for Naotora, hers is not maxed, unfortunately. Like I said, I've been still trying to work on this, but I don't unfortunately have it. It's the same thing with the character's element. Each character will have a special unique element on their weapon. And I've been asked before as well, how do I get a character's element? You need to go to the BASARA eShop and you would be able to find it there, unfortunately. But as you can see here, I have her element. So if I go to her chopstick weapon, which is her big star weapon, known as a joke weapon, I have a weapon here with her element. So what you would do is grab this gold one here, put it here, and you see how the fire symbol appeared on the upper right of the screen. Therefore, that is adding her element to this weapon. If you hit triangle, so when you level and put inscriptions onto a weapon, you put it in the slot. You only have 6 slots available. You put it there, then you hit triangle, then you go left, which means yes. So, yeah, and then it'll get accepted, and then that weapon will have her personal element on it. And then when I switch to it, it'll be glowing like fire, like mad volcano powers. I don't know what the hell I'm saying. So that is how you add elements. Exactly what I did there. Not all characters will have an element on a weapon already. That's kind of something you have to find on your own. And if you want to level up that weapon, you want to go to the second point, and then you can put your points into it or use your fortune hammers or mallets. However, the only thing that sucks about the fortune mallets is that you don't get to decide where they land. If you hit the triangle button for this, it will land wherever it feels. You don't get to point where it goes. That's why it's called fortune. It's basically like, if you have good luck, it'll work. You don't really get to pick where these land. You just have to spam the triangle button over and over and over again to see which one it'll land on. There are times where it will land on one that already is maxed out. In a way, it kind of does feel like you do waste them quite a bit because it lands randomly. You don't get to pick where it lands. It just lands wherever it lands. And this is another way to max out character weapons. And of course you can use in-game points only if you have enough. As you can see, I used mine already on her defense. So now defense is maxed. So now we just got fighting spirit and her Basara levels that are not maxed for this weapon anyway. So we're just waiting on that. And like I said, it lands randomly. You don't get to pick where they land. It really does suck. It does take forever too, having to wait for these. Getting the gold ones are good, but like I said, this is all random. You do not get to pick this. You do not get to pick if it is gold or what. It is what it is. And you just have to wait for it. So fortunately for me, because I do play through the stages quite a bit, I do stack fortune hammers as well as the Tabahagane steel, which is what I was using a minute ago to max out stuff. So there's like 3 different categories that help max out weapons. There is your Tabahagane steel, there is your fortune mallets, and then there's the other points that go into leveling out a weapon. So what I mean by other points is if I go to a different weapon here, like her gold weapon here, you see how it's at 2 stars? If I hit the square button, you see how it went to 3 stars? The highest level you can go to is 5. So when you put these points like this, just tapping the square button, it'll open up a slot as well for an inscription. There is only 6 slots available for each weapon, but if you put these points into it by spamming the square button, like I'm doing right now, it'll max it to 5 and it'll open up the pentagon to the highest available level. So that's how you can get those to open up as well. When it comes to the weapon, if it's not at 5 stars, you won't be able to max out the weapon. As you can see here, the pentagon is smaller, kind of looks like a spider web, and it's locked out. So if I put 50 of these and I max it to the 5th star, 5 level star, it'll give her last inscription slot, and it will open up the pentagon farther, and that's the highest level that can go to. Each weapon only goes to 5 stars. They do not go any higher or any less than 5. It only goes to 5 stars. You only get 6 inscription slots, no more than 6. That's all you get. And the highest point that each one of the slots can go to is 1500. 1500 is the highest it can go to. And like I was saying earlier, if you want it to go to 3000, which is also the highest cap, the level cap is 3000, you have to get a limit break. Like I was saying though, getting a limit break and putting it onto the weapon ain't gonna mean anything if the perimeters are not already maxed. They have to be maxed out at 1500 for all 5 points in order for a limit break to actually happen. You cannot put a limit break onto a weapon early and think it's going to break anything, because it will not. You can put it on the weapon early though. You can. I'm not saying that you can't. You can. It's actually probably better to do it that way anyway. So that way when you do max everything out, the weapon will already break on itself and you don't have to go and break it yourself. It will break on its own because the limit break is already there. It will just do it by itself. Unlike the way I do it. The way I do it is I do it that way. I max out all perimeters myself first. Then I go and put the limit break on it. I don't put the limit break early. There are some instances where I have done that actually. If I had the Koban coins at that moment to buy a limit break for that character's weapon, and I didn't want to do it later, or sometimes I spend money on other stuff in the game that I would be like, oh, by that time I want to get it, I wouldn't have enough money to get it, so I get it early. So you can do that. I'm not saying that you can't. It probably is better to do it that way actually, to put the limit break on the weapon early. But that is basically how this works. I have done videos like this on the PS3 showing how to do that. And I have already done videos on the PS4 multiple times showing how to do this as well. But I guess people keep going back to my old videos from like 5 years ago, still asking me how to do that, when they don't realize I have 2 different Sumeragi playlists. I have Sengoku BASARA 4 literally 3 times. Because I have Vanilla 4 when it first came out back in 2014. I think it was actually 2013. They came out a year apart. So I have Sengoku BASARA 4, then I have Sumeragi, and then I have Utage, and then 3 Heroes is in English. And then I got Sonata Den for the PS4. I did not buy the PS3 version. I have Sonata Den on my PS4, and this is Sumeragi on the PS4. So I have like 5 of the games. And that's basically how you level these characters' weapons out. It's actually really simple. It's real simple. It's not that hard to understand. Really, it isn't. But I thought it would be better if I did show a video how to do it again. It's not complicated. Really it isn't. That's really how you do this for each character's weapon. Every character's weapon only goes to 5 stars, as you can see here. We have to max out all perimeters. They only go to 1500 like base weapon. It does not go any higher. If you want it to go to 3000, you have to put this limit break onto the character weapon in order to get the perimeters to go to 3000. Otherwise, they will not. They will stay at 1500, and the color even signifies. Because if you leave it default, you see how it's orange, and the stars are orange. If a character's weapon has been limit broken, the color changes to blue. That's another way to help you understand if this weapon is limit broken or not. I mean, it's really simple. I don't know how you wouldn't be able to know that. But they also color coordinated it to also help you understand. So if a character's weapon is orange, and if the stars are orange, that weapon has not been broken. It just means it's maxed out, defaulted. If you want it to be limit broken, everything turns blue. So default is orange, limit broken is blue. Limit broke blue, default orange. Again, for characters' personal elements, if you look down to the bottom, on the bottom right, next to Kasuga and Naotora's names, next to their levels, where it says level 57, if you go just a little bit right above her health is at 8,252. So right above a character's health, it has what their element is. So the red bar is their health. I think the yellow bar is attack, and like the greenish bar is their defense. So currently right now with this weapon, and at her current level at 77, her health is only at 8,252. Her attack is at 3,460, regardless of what the weapon's attack says it is. And her defense is at 3,370. As for Kasuga, her attack is at 3,540. Her defense is at 3,130. So her attack is higher than Naotora's, but her defense is lower. And her health is way higher. Her health is at 11,965. So it also depends on the weapons. If I go to the first option, see the options here next to the R1 and L1 buttons, these are also what would change on the weapons. So if you go to the first one, it even glows red, and I hit circle here, it'll change the weapon, and you see how her abilities dropped. Even though she's at level 935 or 33, her everything drops. You can see the difference here. If I switch back and forth, you can see the difference. So the character's weapons do affect everything else. A character's weapon affects their life, their attack, and their defense at all times. There are some weapons that are higher that actually increase what their what you would call max value for all three of those options are. There are some weapons that make things higher or lower. Even if the weapons are all maxed out, even if every single weapon is maxed with limit break, every character's weapon is different. It's also based on the inscriptions in which you put onto the weapon that changes what it is. So this one here, this is a health plus 100, attack plus 100, and defense plus 100. Now, if you look at the right side of the screen, you can see how you can actually combine certain inscriptions together to turn them gold. So if you go down to the bottom, right here, things will change. So this is attack plus 150, and then I believe it's attack and defense plus 100 plus 150. So these change based on if you combine them. As well as with the inscription levels too, it shows you what to do. It shows you which of these inscriptions to combine to get the gold one. So to get the gold one for attack, you need attack plus defense, which gives you this golden one right here. So it's health plus 100, defense plus 150. And it changes. And then if you put one of the circles on them, one of these, it will increase it even farther. So, like I said, it can be complex. But a character's weapon changes with their life. As you can see here, if I go down to a weapon that I don't use, like her default weapon, her life drops incredibly low. It goes from 1,965 to 978. Her attack also goes from 3,540 to barely 377. And her defense goes all the way down to 198 when it's 3,130. So you really have to pay attention to these weapons. The character's weapons will affect what their life, attack, and defense are. You have to max out each weapon to see which one is higher than the other. I can't really stand here and tell you, oh, this weapon's better than this one, or this one makes things higher than that one. I can't really tell you. Not only that, it also changes based on if this character levels up or not. The higher your character will level themselves, the more that will change. So if I level up Kasuga again here, I think her life will go past, it'll probably go to 12,000. So if you go down to this third one and you hit circle, it'll bring up the character levels. If you hit circle on her again, and then you're going to want to hit square, it'll level her up by 1. So in order to level up a character, once you get a character past level 100, you'll only need 15,000 or 5,000 points to level them up. If you have a character that is not there yet, you are going to need more and more points as you go along. So for Maria, for instance, you see how I don't have her to level 100 yet? So that's why I said 15,000, because I was getting ahead of myself. 15 to 16. So somebody like Yukimura, I've never got him to 100 here on my PS4 version. On my PS3 version for my Vanilla 4 and Sumeragi, I've already got him to 999 before. But for 100, each character will need less and less points. So if a character is not at level 100, you need 16,000 points to level them up every time. See here for Masamune, because he's already past 100, he's at 112. To level him up to 113, I only need 5,000. It's less. But compared to other characters that I don't really ever use, like Tenkai, Mitsuhide, it does start out, that's why I said 1500. So for characters that are barely like at level 10, level 20, it changes. So if you have a character that's like below, I think it's below 20? Yeah, below 20. Because Motochika right here, he's at 20. So I think it changes. So I think it's below 10 actually. I think from 1 to 10 it's only 1500 points. Then from 10 to 20, then it goes to like 4,000. And then on up, as you get, it's like every 10 levels, the points will increase how much you need. So when you get to 20, I think it goes to 4,500. And then when you get to like 30 or so, I believe it changes again. So like it's kind of complicated in a way. Let me go back to Matabe for a sec. I'm gonna hit this on him. So see, he's already past 30. So when you get to 30, then it jumps to 7,000. It goes from 4,500 to 7,000 is how much you would need. So for like every 10 levels, like 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, the points will jump. So if you go from, it's from 1 to 10, I think is 1,500. Then 20 to 30, I believe, is 4,500. Then 30 to 40, I believe, is 7,000. And then from 40 to 50, I think it jumps again to 9,000 right here. So with Makoichi, or Sayaka, her real name, it goes to 9,000. Then when you get to 50, then it goes to 12,000. Then when you start to get to 60, then it goes up to 12 again. So, like I said, these points change. Once you start getting to the higher numbers, the points on how much you need to level up a character will jump accordingly. So from 60 here, it's at 12. And I think when you get to 70, see, Kojiro is almost at 70. So it jumps from 12,000 to 14,000. And it goes on up to that point. Because here we're at Naotora, she's almost to 80. So you could see the difference. He's at 69, she's at 77, and I need 14,000 for both. So it varies from level to level. Because then when we go to Yukimura, when we're in the 80s, then you need 16,000. Then if we go to Maria, I believe it drops. It might stay at 16, or it might go up to 20, I think. Because I don't have her maxed out, I can't default the level to see what it is. I think it is 16. Because once you get past 100, it drops all the way down to 5,000. So you can see the tier how it goes here. If I start going down backwards, you can clearly see it here. Shoot, I hit the wrong button. Let me go back to Kotaro just for a sec. Kotaro. Okay, bling. So see, he's at almost 30 and it jumps to 6,000. So you can see how it changes here. You see how it goes from 4,500 and then it jumps to 6. Then from 6 it goes to 7. Then from 7 it goes to 9. From 9 then it goes to 12. And I thought it goes all the way up. It goes to 14 here. And then to 16 here. And I think past, once you get to 90, I think it goes from 16 to 18. It only ever jumps up by 2,000. Because you see how we go from 12 to 4. 12 to 4 is 2. And then 4 to 6 is 2. So it jumps by like 2,000 every time. There are sometimes it jumps drastically though. But from 7 to 9, that's still 2. You see, and then 6 to 7, that's only 1. And this is probably almost 2 here. 4,500 to 6, that's almost like 2.5, like 2,500 or something. Not trying to get all math and technical, but this is how this works. If you have a character who's incredibly low level, that like Shingen and Hideyoshi, that are at level 1, Yoshitsugu, Yoshiaki Mogami, Tadakatsu, Hideaki, Kanbei, Soren, Muneshige, Yoshihiro, they all start at 1,000 when you first start off at level 1. It always starts that way. And then the points jump up as you go. So there are different point statuses, but once you get a character to level 100, you're not going to need 16,000 points to level them up anymore. It drops all the way down. And I actually kind of like that, because then you can level up faster. And you would figure you would need a system like that if you put your level cap at 999. Needing 16 to 18,000 points every time, that would suck. It would take forever at that rate. If you times 16,000 times 999, screw that shit. So that's why they did it like this. Once you get a character to 100, they drop the experience points all the way down to 5,000. So you only need 5,000 to level up a character once you get past 100. You have to get to 100 first before the points drop to 5,000. If you have a character who's still at 90 or 80, like I do with Maria and Yukimura, they will still need about 16,000 points to reach the next level for every time. But every time you level up a character, you see how the experience points jumps. It gets higher. It goes up by at least 2,000 more each time. And they are separated in tiers. That's why I was saying it like that. If you start at 1, it's 1,000, and if you go up to 3 to 10, it's like 1,500, and then if you go to 20 to like 30, it's 4,000. And then when you get to like, well, actually it's like 10 to 20. I think it's like 1 to 3, 3 to 10. It's like the tier levels are split very awkwardly, as you can see here, because from 3, Tenka is at level 3, 1,500. Then Shikanosuke Yamanaka is at 18, and it goes to 4,000. See how it jumps? It jumps from like 1,500 all the way up to 4,000. The tier levels jump. And then when we go, they're only 2 levels apart. Motochika's at 20, Shikanosuke's at 18, and you see how it jumped by 500? It jumped there. And then when we go up to Matsu and Toshirie, it's still the same, but then when we get to Kotaro, who's almost at 30, it jumps drastically. It goes from 4,500 to 6,000. And then when we go up even higher, to where Matabe is, it jumps all the way to 7. It jumps by 1,000. So, like I was saying, these tier levels are branched out differently, because then when we go from 30 all the way to 40, then it jumps again from 7,000 to 9,000. And then when we go from 40 to 50, then it goes from 9,000 to 12,000. And then so forth and so on. Then it goes still to 12, all the way from like 50 all the way to like 60, almost 70. Now when you get close to 70, it goes from 12,000 to 14, and so forth and so on. It stays at 14 for about another 10 or almost another 10, 12 levels, and then when you get to like 80, almost 90, it goes from 14 to 16, and then it goes from 16, I think I want to say it's 18. I can't see it because Maria, her level's not it's not set to like, I need to level her to 92 to make the level even to see what the points are. I think it is 18,000. I think the tier level jumps. When you get out of your 80s to the 90s, I think it goes from 16 to 18. I can't prove that to you or show it to you because she's not maxed to 92, which kind of screws this up. It seems like it is every 11 levels. You can really see that right here. See 51, 61, 51, 61, 61, almost 70. It jumps quite a bit. So the levels can be complicated. It's not too hard. It's just that's how many points you need to get them to the level. And it's the same for all characters that are at that level. Every character at level 30 is going to need the exact same points. It's not all Matabe needs 12,000, but Sen Norikyu only needs like 10. No, it's the same for everybody that is at that level. Everybody at level 60 needs the exact same. Everybody at level 70 needs the exact same. Characters that are at the same level, see Nagamasa and Sen Norikyu, they are both at level 61. You need the exact same amount of experience points for them both. They both need the exact same. One does not need more than the other. That's not how it works. They both need the same. So Nagamasa and Sen both need 12,000 to get to 62. It's the same for every character that is at the same level interval. It does not change. Same thing for Sasuke and Matsunaga. I know Sasuke is at 57, Matsunaga is at 51, but if I were to get Sasuke to 58, I think it's still 12,000. It is still 12. Okay, it's still the same. That's basically how leveling up works. You just take the character, play with him or her, and their points will go up. And the characters do level up at the same time. The only thing is, if you have one character higher than the other, they will not level, like one will always be higher. Obviously, now Kasuga is at level 934, and Naotora is at 77. They will level up at the same pace. Like Naotora will go to 78 at the same time Kasuga goes to 934. They level up at the same, but the level difference is drastically different because I play as Kasuga more than Naotora, obviously. So they will level up at the same, but the levels will be different because, of course, I have one character higher than the other. But characters will level up at the same time. They level up at the same time as you're playing with them. Let me see here. I have her defaulted, so she's ready for a new level. Naotora, though, she's also ready for a new level. So I need 14,000 points for Naotora, and I only need 5,000 for Kasuga. So yeah, like I was saying, that's what I mean by different intervals. Kasuga will still level at the same time as Naotora. However, Kasuga would have already gone up by like 5 or 6 levels because she needs less, as where Naotora would have only gone up by 1 or 2, depending on how many points you actually get for those characters. And if you don't know what I mean by that, because that's kind of confusing the way I just worded that, go here in free mode, which is what this is, to the Takeda Otoko Dojo. And as you level these characters up, they will level up at the same pace, but because Kasuga needs less points, she will get more levels than Naotora will. That doesn't mean anything. Really, it doesn't. If I hit the pause screen here, you see the levels at the upper left. So the bars will level up at the same, but because Kasuga needs only 5,000 to level, and Naotora needs like 14,000, it's gonna take her longer to level, but they level up at the same time. Even though Kasuga needs less points, they will level up at the same time. I know that doesn't make any sense, but that is how it works. They level up at the same time. The only thing is Kasuga will get more levels because she needs less points. So say for instance I get 20,000 points. Who do you think will have more levels? Kasuga. Because she will go up by 20,000. She would have gone up already by like, I don't know, maybe like 3, 4, 5 levels. About 5 or so levels. Well, she's not at 35, so not necessarily. She probably would have went up by like 3 or 4 levels, where Naotora would have barely only went up by like 1. That's how it works. I know that's like complicated to understand. I'm not trying to make it complicated. It's just these characters level up at the same time. You get the exact same amount of experience points for both characters. It's just depending on their level, one character will level faster than the other. See, level here. See, Kasuga leveled first. Reason why Kasuga leveled first is because I need less points for her. I only need 5,000. As for Naotora, I need 14,000. So Kasuga will be leveling. So by the time I get 1 level or even 2 levels for Naotora, Kasuga would have already gone up by like 5 levels. She gets like a 5-level jump. And that's basically what I'm trying to say. So like it's all based on your points. But if you have a character, 2 characters that are at the same level, like I was saying with Nagamasa and Sengoku, I have them both at the same level. So if they level up at the same time. That's what I was trying to say. I know that did not make any sense. I should have just said that. That's what I meant. I hope I didn't confuse you and make you think that I was talking about Kasuga and Naotora leveling up at the same time. That's not what I meant. Characters that are at the same level will level at the same time. But characters that are not, they will still level, but one character will always be ahead of the other. Because I only need 5,000 for Kasuga, she's going to level a whole lot faster than Naotora. I've already got 1 level for Kasuga and still haven't gotten even 1 yet for her. I'm getting ready to go to the 2nd level for Kasuga, and still Naotora hasn't even got 1 yet. You see what I mean? Because I need less points. I only need 5,000 for Kasuga, and I need over 14,000 for Naotora. So it's taking her a lot longer to get a level. See, level here? I leveled before her again. I already have 2 levels and she still hasn't even got 1. She hasn't even got 1 yet. And I've already leveled twice and she hasn't even got 1. So, like, you really have to just pair your characters together however you feel. They still do level up regardless, but one will always be ahead of the other. Once you get a character past 100, it becomes easier to level them, in my opinion. So it's kind of good to try to keep your characters, pair them however you want to pair them, play as whoever you want, but pair them however you wish, and one will always level higher than the other. I've already gotten 2 levels, and Naotora hasn't even gotten 1. So, level. Let's see. Nope, she still hasn't gotten 1. So it doesn't really matter. People think probably you'll level faster if I'm playing as her. No, they level up at the same pace. She still gets experience points rather if I'm playing as her or not. It doesn't really matter. You don't need to necessarily play as that character to get a level for them. They still get experience points even if they are set as a companion or whatever have you. They still get points. You don't need to necessarily play as that character in order for that character to level up. They still get experience points because they are still in the battle. They are still side by side with your player character. They are still in the same battle, so they will still get experience points because they're still there. So as you can see here, Kasuga has already gone up by 3 levels, and Naotora has only barely gone up by 1. So you can see, trying to pair a lower level character with a higher level character, you're going to have some level differences due to the fact that one will always level up faster than the other. It's not really a big problem in my opinion. I never really cared. I still play with the characters however I like. There are some characters I did level up first before others, and I did have them paired differently. You can block Basara attacks. I just can't do it correctly with her. But you can guard against some of them. You can cancel it, basically. It's a cancel. But that's basically how you level characters, and when it comes to their weapons. Like I said, it can be complex when you get into the weapons because there's so many different inscriptions that all do different stuff. You have inscriptions that will level up their attacks or their health or their defense, some that do both. You also have some inscriptions that will add 1+ hit for every hit they land. They get an extra hit. They're special inscriptions. I think there's even one that will resurrect your character once if you put it on a weapon. I think I have it for Mitsunari. He's the only one I have it for. I have a particular weapon for him that if I die, it will resurrect you once per battle, per stage. You only get 1 resurrection out of it. But if you die, it'll automatically resurrect you. There's also a playbook that does the exact same thing that can resurrect you, but again, it's only it's a one-time use for each stage. It's not, oh, I equip it, I can revive endless times. No, it's only one-time use only. And I don't mean one time as in you get to use it once and it's gone forever. It's only once per stage that you get to use that. But it is kind of neat, actually. There's been times where I've used that and I'm like, what the hell is even happening here? I'm just trying to remember what sword it was, because I also did it on my PS3 versions for Vanilla 4 and Sumeragi on my PS4. Mitsunari was the only one I ever gave that inscription to, and I think it had happened by accident, and I actually had to go back and look it up to see what it was. I might do an inscription video where I actually break it down and translate all of the inscriptions and show you and tell you what they are. The only thing that sucks about that is the kanji symbols are very tiny to see, and it would take it a very long time for me to do that, and it would probably end up being multiple parts, because I don't think an hour would be long enough for me to go through all of them. It might be, but I don't know for sure. But I could do a video doing that. I think I'd probably be the only person who has ever done something like that, as far as I know. It would take a long time for me to sit here or stand. I stand majority of the time. I rarely ever sit when I play games. I have to sit closer because my room's kind of not big, but my flat screen TV is a distance from where my bed is, so I have to get closer to it. I do have a chair somewhere, but never mind. The point is, it would take me a long time to break down these descriptions because they do different things. Each of them do different things. And there is an inscription that I have that does give you a one-time resurrection per stage. And I've only ever given that to Mitsunari. He's the only one I've ever given that to. Mainly because you only have 6 slots. You know what I mean? You only have 6 slots, and I got insta-killed by Motonari. Boy, that was a tasty power move. So basically, like, you only get 6 slots. And you have to really decide what you want to give that character, because you figure their element takes up 1 slot, limit break takes up 1 slot, special skill revision takes up 1 slot, attack plus or attack inscription takes up 1 slot, a health inscription takes up 1, so you only get 6. You really have to be careful on which inscriptions you add, because they take up space, and that's why I've never given my other characters that. I don't play as Mitsunari much, so that's why I gave him something like that. But for my other characters that I play as all the time, like Hanbei or Tsuruhime or Kasuga, I would never give them something like that, an inscription that would revive them once. It is really cool to have, but I usually have a bunch of shit on their weapons already, and I can't afford to risk a spot for something like that. Normally I just try to play well. Like, I try to limit that so that I would never give them a chance to die, but it does happen. As you saw there with Kasuga, she's higher level than Naotora, but Mitsunari not Mitsunari, I keep thinking about Mitsunari. Motochika and Motonari insta-killed me. So, like I said, your character's levels, they kind of don't really play a factor, because it is all based on you, the player. It's based on you and what you do. Because she was high level as shit, and I got insta-killed by Motonari. That's, like, fucking insane. That's just, like, that's insane. So, you can, even though you're higher leveled, I have characters that have been completely maxed out to 999, and I've been one-shotted before. So, like, just because you're maxed out doesn't mean, oh, you're super invincible, you can't die, because I assure you, you can. And in most cases, you would die horribly. So, it does happen. It does. It happens. So, freaking Matza. Oh my god. She was like, look at my animals. So there, I parried her Basara attack and it killed her. Freaking sweet. Get on the floor. So, like I said, it does happen. You can be insta-killed even though your character is super maxed out. You can be insta-killed. You are not invincible. It's the way your character lives and survives. It's still based on you, the player. It really is. It's based on how you play, the style you use, what attacks you use the most. That's a terrible thing to be in the way of. See, look at that. I almost was insta-killed again. Freaking Yoshihiro, you damn bastard. You Jigen Ryu. I think that's what he used to call his sword. I think it was Jigen Ryu. What the shit. So because I only need 5,000 points for her, I was saved to be a level, as you can see there. So, if you remember what their levels were at when I first started this, you see how I've already gone up by like 5 to 6 different levels. Now Tora's only barely gone up by like 2 or 3, I think. So like I said, the levels and their points, they do play a factor on how your characters will and do level up. This game is really fun, even though it is in Japanese. I understand a little bit of it. I'm not like super fluent in Japanese, but I know enough to understand what they're saying. The point is, it's good game design that somebody who speaks English their whole life, like me and many others, that it's our first language. I do know a little bit of like French and Spanish. I have family members that are French and Spanish, Italian, Indian. So I have many different cultures in my family and many different languages that I've heard. It's just I was taught to speak English. I wasn't taught my motherland family language. I wasn't taught like Spanish and Italian and Cherokee Indian. I wasn't taught those languages, but it's in my family. One of my great grandmothers was a full-blooded Cherokee Indian, and that's all she spoke. However, people had to translate when she would say things. She did know English, though. It's not that she didn't. She did. She just didn't speak it like fully. When she would talk, she would lose her. She would use her mother tongue language. She wouldn't speak English. So it's the same too. I also had a great-grandfather who only spoke Spanish, so when I met him, one of my other relatives had to translate for me. That was kind of weird, not being able to fully talk to your family member because they speak a different language than you. I felt really weird. I was like, oh my god, don't you throw that Tarakatsu spear at me! Man, Ieyasu's great. I only like him here. I don't care for him in Samurai Warriors, but here he's so feisty and he's angsty and he's young and he's in my face and I like it. Um, but basically, that's all I can say about the game. I got a little distracted. Blame my ADHD for that. This is how you level these characters. When it comes to leveling, when it comes to their weapons, like I can spend all day talking about this game. It's not hard. Once you grasp the ropes, anyway. Sometimes the ropes can still leave you blinded, but it's not too hard. Like I said, if people ever have questions on the game, because I have been getting asked lately a lot, it's not complicated. It's just I prefer to show videos. I will still answer in a typed comment if I can, but if I already have a video showing how to do that, I might just say I have a video. But I would prefer people paid attention more to the PS4 playlist. I know on my PS3 playlist I did cover a lot. I did show a lot more things in detail, but I think I do it a lot better now because of the fact that I can record in HD quality and you don't have to squint through my terrible quality that I once had. It's now easier for you to see what the hell is going on. But I can explain things to the best of my knowledge if I can. That was a jerk move, Tadakatsu. It's not that hard. Like I said, the only thing that might be hard is when it comes to inscriptions. Now that's hard. Oh my god, there's so many of them, and they all do different things. And you have to be careful of this bronze colored one that has like a little U on it, because that's rust. And that inscription permanently lowers the attack on that character's weapon that it happens to land on, and it sucks. It permanently lowers the attack, and even if you get rid of the inscription and replace it with another one, if I remember correctly, I think it still permanently lowers the attack on that weapon, and that weapon's like 100% fucked. As far as I remember, rust will permanently lower the attack. Permanently lowers it. I don't know by how much it lowers it. That I don't know. I can't tell you. All I know is it lowers the attack on the weapon. And I think even if you do get rid of the inscription, once it lowers the attack, it stays like that. I don't know if it goes back by replacing it. I have replaced rust inscriptions before, but I never really paid attention to the attack level damage to see if it reverses it, if it goes back up, or if it stays down. As far as I know, I remember somebody telling me that it permanently lowers it. I have no proof of that, though, unfortunately. That one I cannot tell you. That's kind of when you would have to find out yourself. I might have to re-find it out for myself. Again, also, so that I can find out if that's really what it does. I don't know if it really does or not. I don't know. All I know is that it's an inscription that just fucks up your character's weapons, and you can't really control when you get it. It's like a random thing that happens when you're combining inscriptions. Especially the little, was like the gold ones with the green ones. The green ones you have to be careful of. That's when it happens. It's like a transfer. Hanbei, get off of me. Oh my god. That's a burst line I never thought I would say. I have said it before, but but still, you just be careful of that one. I think it's with the green inscription. It's a green inscription that gets fused with a transference. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's like I'm speaking some Full Metal Alchemist language over here. Transference. No, I don't think so. Equivalent exchange. You just have to be careful with that inscription. It screws up shit. That's all I know. Lowers the attack. I think it is permanent though. I have no proof of that. It's just what somebody told me once. I don't know if it really permanently does or it doesn't. I would have to figure that out and then get back to you on that. But I would have to get it first. So. Oh, that bounce. But aside from that, I think I did cover everything I needed to. I'll just play until the video ends on me and cuts me off in the middle of talking, because that happens a lot. But again, I will be trying to do more thorough videos if I can. I did cover most things. The only thing that is hard is the inscriptions, because there's no translation in the game for those, obviously. I do have one that I have printed out. Not printed, but it's in a file that I made. And I would have to go through that step by step, inscription by inscription, telling you what each one does. They are numbered on my guide. I have a guide that are numbered. I think it goes to like 43, 40, 30 something. There's like a total of 30 or 40 something in different inscriptions. She got owned super hard. They are fun. It's just it takes forever to translate them, and that's what I would have to do to break the inscriptions down, basically.